Welcome to the dinner table in Dallas, Texas. We're here for Marquette's Sweet 16 game. They're taking on NC State tonight, and we're so excited to be joined by Tyler Kolek's parents, Kevin and Lynn. Thank you so much for being here and doing this with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We're big fans of you guys.
That's nice of you. So, first of all, I'm just going to give a little introduction. Kevin Kolek, a 2,000-point scorer and two-time conference player of the year at UMass Dartmouth, a Division III program. He's the leader in career assists, of course, right? And so much more. I mean, he shot 51% from three. Chloe and I were looking up his stats. We're like,
oh my gosh.
Like,
yeah, but you got to think back then, though, the three-point line was closer than it is now. So
okay.
Now it's a little farther now.
What, a foot?
It's a little closer.
He'll always defer.
Always. Impressive. And then Lynn Kolek is a nurse at Roger Williams Medical Center. Played some intramural sports, but wasn't playing sports in college. But when did you start getting into loving basketball?
It's funny you asked that. My brothers played hockey, so I was always at the rink. Hated basketball because I couldn't stand the squeaking of the sneakers on the court. Couldn't watch it on TV. Couldn't go to a game because it drove me nuts. And then I met this guy, and I had to adapt.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
get used to the squeaking sneakers.
Got used to everything. Learned the game during CYO when Tyler and his older brother Brandon were playing. I used to score for them, and I'd be cheering from the scorer's table. And I'm sure refs don't really appreciate that. So I had to.
Cheering, more like yelling at the refs.
Yes, I was yelling at the refs, but yeah, that was my earliest memories of, other than him playing, because there was an outdoor court in Providence, Rhode Island, that he played at with some really impressive players. And I enjoyed watching that because the sneakers didn't squeak.
We should have got Lynn's intramural stats.
Yeah, I know.
How did we not find those?
I think it was like 50% from me.
Yeah.
Probably led the team in assists also.
I could spike a good volleyball.
So basketball quickly became your life?
Yes, then. So we've been married for 27 years. We've been together almost 31. So for 31 years, it's been nothing but basketball.
How are you guys feeling? Game tonight, Sweet 16. What are your emotions like today?
I'm always nervous before every game and extra nervous today. Just want the teams to succeed and everyone to do well in advance in the tournament.
As Shaka says, if you're not nervous, you're not human, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I love that video of him saying that.
But I think it's worse. Like as a player, you get nervous before the game. But once the game starts, the nerves go away. But for parents, the nerves never go away. Yeah. It's just like the whole game. So.
Kevin, it's fun to watch because he reminds me just of our dad. Yeah. Basically, you sit away up top. My dad would do the same thing. He'd sit away from everybody. I know why. So you don't even have to tell us. But he's up there, and he's, it's funny. You got to look back at him during the game. Every time something goes well, he's excited. And something goes bad. He said he almost broke his hand the last game on the chair in front of him. So he's fired up at all times, and I love it. It's just like our dad.
And do you kind of just let it happen?
So we don't sit together for a reason. So I don't see a lot of it. I know it's happening, but I don't see a lot of it. And it's funny because the last game, so friends of his from college that played ball with him came with us. And one of our other friends that were home said Kevin and Lynn Kolek. And here it was, Bill Butsy, one of my friends, as standing in for Kevin Kolek. It said Kevin and Lynn Kolek.
And Bill's a hoot, too. Is he the guy who's standing up? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Is he going to be here today?
No, they couldn't make it. It's Easter. It's a tough weekend for people.
No.
Yeah, he was getting the crowd going the other night. That was so much fun.
We're going to be down some inspiration today without Bill in the
Maybe
crowd.
Kevin will stand in.
I doubt it. Do you guys have like your own little thing that you do before a game, or do you kind of just, talk to Tyler? Do you not talk to Tyler? Do you let him be?
Yeah, I just let him be, being his mom, you kind of understand, where he's at when you're talking to him. So if you can, ask certain questions, or if you just, how are you? Okay, love you, bye. He gives that vibe off right away. This one more so will.
Yeah, like game day, I just kind of just let him do his thing. Mm-hmm. He's in his routine, and so I don't send him a quick text, so not too much. It's game day.
Yeah, for sure. And then like after the games, I think for us, we were all kind of different how we handled things, right? We'd get in the car and our dad would be telling stuff, and Carly never wanted to hear it. Cameron probably loved it. I would cry here
unless
and there.
I played bad.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you didn't play well, it was a little bit worse. But how was that relationship after the games with either of you guys, just knowing, kind of that constructive criticism, but also...
So I try not to, even if I think I could see something that could do better, I try not to say anything.
Yeah.
Even his worst games, I'll just, if I'm not at the game, or if I'm, let's say, good game, or he knows if he didn't play well, he doesn't need anything from me. He's at an age now, he knows so much about the game. I just try to be positive with him, and that's it.
I want to hear a little bit about how you kind of introduced him to the game of basketball. I'm assuming, actually. I don't know. Maybe, Lynn, you might have you guys talked about basketball. But just how did you develop this type of game? I mean, watching Tyler, I'm sure anybody who sees it knows that he's most likely the smartest player on the court at all times, if not one of the smartest players on the court. He plays under control at all times. When he gets to the basket, he just has a crafty ability about him to score with his left and with his right hand and uses pivots wisely. I mean, is that something that you kind of introduced to him at an early age? Or
So, yes. And I always played and still try to play.
Yeah.
But we would always play like 2-on-3, 3-on-3. We had a gym where we could get into, and even when they were babies, like 2-on-3, I would take them, and they'd be in the strollers. Then when they got older, they'd be like fighting on the sidelines. And then when they got probably like 10, we started to let them play a little bit with us, and they always played with us. So we just play not even full court, because I think it's better that you develop more in half court. And then, so we would just play 3-on-3s with my friends, a lot of guys that played in college and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they got better doing that. And then Lynn was working when they were little, and I would come home every day and just would go to either Boys Club or the Y, would just try to find games, just play anybody. And
that's the secret.
time.
We just had Travis on, and he talked about him and his cousin. So it's nothing like Tyler and Brandon. They'd play when they're 10 years old with his dad and his uncle at the Y, and they try to find games and pick up games like that. And he said that his uncles would kill him and make it known.
Every day we played. I don't think there's one day we didn't play, and if it was just he's getting shots. And it's funny because when I grew up, we never did individual workouts. Like I know it's a big thing now. We just played and 1-on-1, 2-on-2, and then I never once in my life did a workout with anybody.
That's the best thing to do.
And then when he probably got around 8th, 9th grade, he started doing workouts. We how the game had changed and how to just develop more. And so.
Did Tyler, from a young kid, what was he like from both your perspectives? Were you like, this kid's going to be good at whatever sport he decides to play? Or like, what kind of mentality did he have, even as a little kid?
No, he was very good at all. He had good hand-eye coordination, so he played baseball and football, and he was very good at those sports. But then he kind of just loved basketball. He'd go to baseball practice with his basketball. And I remember when he was in 6th grade, he was trying out for the middle school baseball team, and he was probably one of the best in his grade. And practice was supposed to be like tryout was supposed to be 4:30 to 6. And I got there at 6. We had AAU practice, and I was like, it was like 10 past 6, and they were going over. So I went right into the gym. I go, Tyler, we got to go to AAU practice. And then he got cut. He never played baseball again. That was it.
That was it.
What did you see from Tyler from a young age?
So just determined, resilient. He had an older brother that was, my son Brandon is 6'5" in shoes, and they were both so competitive. So I think, and Tyler to this day will say that chip on his shoulder is his brother, because he was just always trying to prove to his brother that I'm going to be better than you. I am better than you. And now look at me. Look where I am now, to this day, But, there were some battles. I always felt like a ref because I had to get in the middle of them or else they'd kill each other. They get in some rip-roaring fights over basketball, But Tyler was a little he'd always be poking the bear, and Brandon's the big bear. And always be poking because he's always in his ear back then.
He doesn't do any poking the bear on the court now.
Oh, no.
We were actually playing. I was up. Like it was maybe 3 weeks ago, and Tyler always goes to the gym to get shots up at like 10 o'clock at night, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and he had a bunch of his friends in, and Brandon, my other son, was here, and he's with one of his other friends, and they were playing 2-on-2, and then Tyler said, he goes, let's play 3-on-3, they asked him to play, wanted to play, so now it's like 11 o'clock, they got a game the next day at 1, and they're going, and so they said, we need another guy, so I'm playing, and so we're both playing 3-on-3, so we played a couple of games. And I said, all right, that's it, Tyler. And they're going at it. They're banging each other. I'm like, all he needs to do is twist his ankle. So it's like 11:30, and they had to play another game. And I was trying to get the ball to shoot it, so Tyler's driving to the basket. I'm saying, I still want him to twist his ankle. Yeah. But he had to play.
Like Kenny doesn't have enough on his plate.
Just doesn't have enough. He has to. Yeah, I know. This is before the oblique injury. But it had to be 3 years ago. I think he was at just leaving George Mason. We were playing 2-on-2, myself and Tyler against Brandon and one of his friends. And same thing like Lynn was saying, Tyler's just poking, you can't cover me, I'm better than you. Just wouldn't stop.
Still to this day.
And then so Brandon got so mad, I could see it coming. And then Brandon elbowed him, they elbowed each other. Brandon tackled him at half court to watch, and he had his hands ready to punch him. His other friend like tackled Brandon. I'm like, there were adults in there fighting at the middle of a basketball game, like a fist fight.
25, like, hello.
And he's too strong for me to I couldn't have tackled him off my friend did. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know what to do. But it was that, they were like that all the way through.
That's actually hilarious. I mean, what was on the line? Just pride, obviously.
Just 2-on-2. At 2-on-2 at the YMCA.
So that confidence from Tyler and that, like you said, chip on his shoulder, I know he kind of got it from his brother, but that confidence he has on the court before games, after games, does he get that from either one of you guys?
This one's very humble. Always, even when he played, any banquet I went to for him, always about the team, which Tyler is for the most part too. Yeah. Because he knows, he wouldn't be where he is if it wasn't for the team. Yeah. But I just think he knows where he's at and kind of has always been confident and able to express himself in any way, and just
so maybe from you.
Probably, yes.
It's such what you're saying is such a good point, because you see some guys like cross the line and it goes from being confident to cocky, and it's almost distasteful. Like, to me, Tyler, it's the perfect how you got to be out there, because you can't go out there and not be confident, right? And you got to have a chip on your shoulder, and he does it to the perfect extent, and it's one of the big reasons why Marquette plays with a chip on their shoulder, because you need your best player to do that. And it's the perfect walk on the line. Now, maybe a guy like Cam Spencer might cross the line sometimes, we see it, but it's a little different. Yeah. But him doing that too is great for UConn, and they do the same type of thing. You need guys like that, and it's so important. So
I'd love to know what he says to people in their ear on the court. Like, you see him talking to other players all the time. Yeah. It's like, I'd love to know what
I'm sure you could probably ask Brandon.
Brandon would definitely know.
He could tell you.
I've seen things too, like the team wants him to do it at times if Tyler's not himself or something on the court, which is rare, but the teams mention that it's because he's not getting into somebody or kind of giving him that like confidence that he carries with him. And I'm kind of curious too, he kind of talks to the refs here and there, but it's kind of like a jokingly like talk. It's not like a frustrated or sometimes that you see with the NBA players or different players in the league. But I've always wanted to ask him that, like, what do you say to those refs in those moments? Because they seem like they like him. They don't give him a lot of calls, but they seem like they like him.
You're right about that. They don't give him any calls.
They don't. They're not nice to him. He gets
so banged up inside, and then that team will come down and the whistle's blown before even anybody gets touched.
Lynn's she's gonna get fined.
I am all about the refs. I am like I
ever since CYO when you were yelling at him.
Yeah, that's where it all started.
Did you guys obviously Shaka has done such a great job with the team, and can you guys talk about your relationship with Coach at all, and with Tyler as well?
No, he's the reason that we came here. It was COVID when he was in the transfer portal. We couldn't visit. I had never been to Milwaukee. I'd never been to Marquette, but they were so great. Himself, Cody, Nevada, the whole coaching staff, and they just built that relationship. And actually, it was a little bit. He was in the transfer portal. It goes quick. Yeah. He was in there for maybe 2 weeks before, and a lot of other schools were talking to him. And then Shaka came in, and he was just built a relationship, and that's what Tyler's about, just relationships. Yeah. And Shaka and Cody and the rest of the staff, just not only Tyler, they would call her, they would call me, they would call his high school coaches, they would call his AAU coaches, they called teams he played against, everyone in college, and even before that, they did the research, and they were just all about relationships. And other schools would try to pressure you to commit. You got to commit here. You're going to lose your spot. And so right away, we could tell how genuine they were and how much they cared and had a family environment. And so after maybe 2 more weeks, and the transfer portal goes fast, and I was like, Tyler, Marquette's the right spot. And he's like, I know it is, but I just want to make sure. I want to take my time. And so we had called Shaka, and Shaka's like, I don't care if you take 2 months. We want you. You're what exactly? So he was great. And then when he got here, the same thing. He was just. It's all about family relationships, and they're genuine with the team, and he's that way with us. I remember one time, it was about 2 years ago, and Tyler's going back to school, probably 2 days later, he was home for a break. It was after the season, but they were going back. And we were actually at the gym. He's like, I have a pain in my stomach. And so he went home, and then it kept getting worse and worse. So we took him to the hospital. They found out he has his appendix burst. So he had to have his appendix out.
That's right, I remember.
And so this was like, so we were waiting in the hospital, and then they finally did a test. It was like 3:30 in the morning. And so Ty's like, I got to call the coaching staff. So I think he called Cody first at 3:30. He was like, I let you down. I'm in the hospital. I won't be able to come back tomorrow. And then, so it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Every single one of the coaching staff, Shaka first, every single one called him in the morning. How you doing? Just like, they were great. And they've always been like that. Just care about what's best for the player. And so we're grateful for that.
When he made his decision to come to Marquette, did you ever think it would come to this extent now, being All-American? I'm sure you guys had belief in your son, and he definitely has it in himself. But just kind of talk about, like, wow, like, this is where it is now.
Tyler's always set the bar high and reached it, and then set it higher and reached it, and set it higher and reached it. So, sky's the limit for him.
Yeah.
He's his own limit, and I don't believe he'll put any restrictions on himself.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what, I was with Wojo on his staff when he got let go, and then when Shaka came in, I was with the team for that summer, just kind of helping them get underway and whatnot. And I could tell right away, like, the number one priority with Shaka, first day he takes a job, second day he's in the office with Cody and they're sitting there. The number one priority from day one was Tyler Kolek. And I'm like, okay, who is this kid? He's from George Mason. I'm looking up his stats, got good stats and stuff. But they're talking about him like Michael Jordan, man. I'm telling you. And they wanted him so bad, calling him nonstop. I was driving Shaka all around and stuff. And every time I picked him up, he was on the phone, probably with you or Tyler or Lynn. And they knew he was special the way you guys described Tyler before anybody else did. The way they I'm telling you, it was like, and they were like, when we get this guy, he's going to change the program to what it is now. And they couldn't have been more right about that. I'm telling you, it gives me kind of chills to think about that right now.
And you can see with the team, they recruited on potential. Like, they're not recruiting these 5-star recruits all the time, and they're changing him into what they believe that they can turn him into. And I think they probably saw the mentality of Tyler and just the way that he talks and gets in the game and gets in the gym, and saw that the way that he could go. Just as a player walking into the Al McGuire Center, we would talk about it all the time. Like, you don't go into the Al without seeing Tyler in the gym. Like, you don't do it. You could go at any time of the day. And I always thought it was interesting because it wasn't like he was going for 2 hours in there shooting a million shots. Like, he might go in there for 30 minutes, do some ball handling, and then maybe a couple hours after go in there for 15 minutes and shoot some free throws. Like, he just loves being in there. So, even when you go home, you're playing 2-on-2 and things like that.
Even he came home for Christmas, and like Christmas Day, I'm going to rebound for him. He's in the gym, and he's always, like I say, he hasn't been a day, I don't think, in his life, unless he was injured, that he hasn't played or wanted to play, or not even once. It's like, and I'm a big basketball, I believe you got to get in the gym, but he's driving 40 minutes for weightlifting, then he's going for strength and condition, then a workout, then a run, and then pickup, and then back to the gym to shoot. I'm like, Tyler, you got to scale back a little bit, but it's just hard for him to do that.
I'm sure the last 3 weeks or so with the oblique probably was killing him. Not being on that court.
No, it was definitely killing him.
Oh man, I could imagine, because those games too on the East Coast when we were in New York City, I'm sure he lives for him.
Yeah, and I know he definitely wanted to play, and it was 100% the right decision for him not to play, because I know he wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
But it was killing him not to play.
Yeah.
And he's always played. He has a high threshold of pain, so he's always played through that.
But thank God we got him now. That was 100% the right decision.
But going back to what you were talking about earlier with Shaka, how he develops players and finds players. Like, when he called us and he was being recruited, like, Shaka knew how many times he was in the pick and roll. I don't remember the exact number, but it was 150 times you're in the pick and roll, and this is how we see you. Yeah. No other coaches did that type of research. So he was at George Mason, and they needed him to score. I remember him telling the coach, Tyler was telling me, he said, I'm in practice, I'm passing the ball around. The coach stopped practice. He's like, Tyler, we didn't bring you in here to pass. We need you to score. You got to be a shooter. So he was like cranking it up every time he got it. But he still was a good passer. And I think he only had, probably under 3 assists a game. But he led the team. But they did not give assists for anything. I remember watching the games, he had way more than that. Yeah. So I remember watching the game, after the game, I know Tyler had 10 points. I just remember, I'm saying, I look at the stats after. I said, I know he had at least 5 assists. I remember looking at the game, 1 assist. I'm like, 1 assist? Like, they wouldn't give him assists for, like, so his stats, his assist stats are definitely off. And maybe he had 2 point something. He led the team. They wouldn't give him anything. If the guy hit a layup and did a pump fake, it wasn't an assist. I'm like, it was during COVID. I think they probably had students doing the stats. I have no idea. But
so Shaka probably knew he had more assists because I'm looking at his stats. This guy's not Michael Jordan, man.
But I know for like, I'd count after the game. I could remember. I said, I remember 4 assists. At least he had 1. Right?
How do you feel like you develop being such a good passer like that?
It's weird because he played a lot, but I think it's just natural. Yeah. Like my other son played a lot too, not as much as Tyler. And he's a good passer too, but Tyler just had something. And when he always had it, like when he was in AAU, they needed him to score, so he shot a lot, and he scored a lot in high school. But his best thing was always passing. And like people say, he wasn't a point guard, but he always could see stuff. And even me, like I see stuff, and I believe, you got to get people involved. But he always had that. I said, wow, that's a good pass. It's just, I think that was just natural ability that he had. That was always his best thing.
Yeah. As soon as he gets the ball, you see him scanning. Like he knows where everybody is, even if they're behind him. It's just innate. It's amazing. I don't think many people have it.
One of my favorite things about how he plays is when we get on the break, most of the time the point guard's like flying up the court, right? He's just almost walking pace. He lets everybody else get in front of him, and then he just just completely picks people apart. And one of the guys, you talked about development from Shaka, and this is like Tyler's pick and roll partner, is Oso. I mean, Oso's had a hell of a year. What do you think about him and Tyler in that pick and roll?
I think it's unbelievable. I mean, he's great. He's got great hands, great timing. And I think it's from playing together. But I think Oso's just, he's a great player too. He knows the game so well. Yeah. He makes great passes. If Tyler's pass isn't right on it, he passes it to someone else. Oso's a great player. I mean, the whole team is just so unselfish, but especially Oso.
We had Oso. Oso was part of Wojo's recruiting class, and he came in. He was obviously his freshman year. We probably had him playing out of position because he was in post more, and that he doesn't do any of that now, really. But he also needs a guy like Tyler because those two just work so well together. Oso just obviously runs out to that screen so hard, but he gets so quickly to the basket. Yeah. I mean, it's such an underrated skill.
And he jumps quick, and he gets so.
Man, he's been that dynamic duo right there, and then you have Cam at the another just elite scorer. It's part of the reason why that backcourt's so fun to watch, but everybody just playing well together.
What do you guys think about tonight's matchup? You I don't know, you guys know it more than I do probably. I don't know, but what do you think about the matchup? Yeah, with NC State and possibly what's to come on Sunday.
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
I mean, I didn't know a whole lot about NC State during the year. I watched some YouTube and looked at some of their players, and I know they obviously beat some unbelievable teams. And Marquette, I mean, if they play well, they can beat anybody, but I think whoever plays the best and their style of play, I think it's going to win the game. So I think it's going to be a very hard game, and hopefully Marquette can come out on top.
You go ahead.
They seem to always be hard games. Like, you think you're, oh, yes, I can breathe. And what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
That last game especially against Colorado.
Well, that big guy, 44. So I Tyler's want to hear it from me. What do I know, Yeah. I've only been watching basketball for 30 years. The big guy, 44, I had watched a game prior, and I was like, just run him. Just run him up and down. He can't do it. He gets winded really easy. Yeah. He's like, all right, Mom. Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile,
but they ran him, and he had to sit. He had to sit. So this big guy on NC State, I heard, run him.
Yeah.
Run him. But I'm not going to call Tyler and say, run him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Nevada, I'm sure, is telling him the same thing.
Yeah, he doesn't need me. What do I know about that?
No, we're going to be yelling in the stands tonight. Run him, Tyler!
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, we used to play one-on-one against each other, right? That whole thing. And we used to do things like countdown for Sweet 16, countdown, 3, 2, 1, win the Final Four, like something like that. Was there anything with Brandon and Tyler where they're like dreaming of these moments together for the NCAA tournament?
I'm sure. This is a dream. Just even the Sweet 16 is a dream. And, if you're playing basketball at that level, the national championship is, pride and joy. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just a dream. I don't even think growing up, they could even dreamt about being where he's at right now. But yeah, always as young kids, always like throwing shots up and 3, 2, 1. But imagine it, but just to win a game, not March Madness, NCAA Sweet 16. I don't think they could ever even dream like that.
Yeah, it's incredible to think about. When you think about Tyler off the basketball court, what do you think would be his profession if he wasn't going in playing pros and basketball is going to end soon? What do you think?
Lawyer.
A lawyer. I like it.
He likes to argue.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
What do you think?
No, I think he loves basketball.
Yeah.
So
You can't see him playing doing anything else but
No,
basketball.
I mean, I think he coaching or
He's got
maybe
the communication major.
I mean, I'm sure he'd love to do.
He'd be great in
like
front of
what
the camera,
a little
too.
bit like podcasts or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
And it's
being
funny
about something like
because
that.
my friend who I've known since we were 5 cuts my hair and now has started cutting Tyler's hair. And last time he was home, he went to her and she texted me afterwards after he left and said, well, if this basketball thing doesn't work out, certainly could get modeling in. Okay.
I love it. I love it. I'm just wondering, from a parent's perspective, what are you guys most proud of Tyler? I mean, everyone knows his name. He's, you can't talk about college basketball right now without talking about Tyler Kolek. But as his parents, you guys know him best. So what are you most proud of?
Just to me, like how mature he's become and the person he's become growing up, just being around. And a lot of it's from being here. He's grown up so much with the people he's met here, you guys and the coaching staff and his teammates. More so just the person he's become and how he's grown up and just matured.
Yeah.
I feel like I value hard work, and he has taken it to another level, like almost to a point where I want to say, can you kick it back a little bit, like you're going to be old before your time. But he's just a unique personality that I cherish every day.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a testament to you guys, and I'm lucky because I get to see Tyler and all these guys when they attend these NIL events that we do. And Tyler's great. All these guys are great, but Tyler he leads the charge in these events too. We'll go down and we'll do a group skill session with the Boys and Girls Club, and he's there, and I don't even have to do anything. He's all right. Station's over here. He's talking to the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, shaking hands. It's a testament to you guys because I'm sure he was raised that way. And it's very cool to see from Tyler and the whole team. Like, there's not one guy out there that's, doing a half-assed job or being like disrespectful. It would just never happen. Yeah. And it's really cool to see from being a fan of a Marquette team. These guys are all good guys.
You know what? Not only good, they're unbelievable guys.
Yeah.
Like last night, I came to the hotel after the shooting. Every single one comes up and hugs you.
Yeah.
It's been that since. Every single person since I've been here, and it doesn't matter who it is. I could be sitting there and someone else in the gym they don't even know. They all walk up to him, how you doing? Like it could be anybody, and they're genuine people.
Yeah.
And that's the type of person that Shaka and the coaching staff values, and it's amazing to me.
Yeah. Testament to all their families too, because
Yeah.
we've become so close. We've started this Marquette Moms. And
we see you on social media.
Oh, it's so cool.
What do you guys got going this weekend? Did you do anything planned?
Nothing as of yet that I've seen, but I'm sure Stephanie Mitchell will come up with something. She's a pharmacist. She does all the graphics on. She's made jean jackets, and she gets all the social media together. I'm like, geez, girl.
Shout out Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie Mitchell.
We love her.
So we have one last question for you. It's McKenna's, our younger sister. It's McKenna's mystery question. And her question is, what other sport do you feel like Tyler would excel at if he wasn't playing basketball?
I think football.
Yeah, he was good at football.
What position?
I think wasn't he quarterback? He had a good arm.
Right?
Yeah. He was good at baseball till I pulled him out of the practice. But he was good. Like as a lefty, even at like Little League and all that, he was always like a shortstop, pitcher, catcher. Like usually at lefty, at first baseman or outfield. Yeah. He had really good hand-eye coordination. So I mean, if he worked on that, I know hitting the baseball is a skill, and you have to work on that. But I think he made the right decision.
I think so too.
I'm going to say ping pong. He loves ping pong. He's pretty good at it.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him as a quarterback. Seeing him pass the ball around, slinging around. That'd be fun.
Yeah. All right, Kevin and Lynn, thank you so much for joining us and being a part of the Marquette family. It's so great to get to know you guys and what a ride it's been.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This has been fun.
Yeah,
Go Marquette.
Let's
has
keep
been
this
awesome.
journey going.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll do a
go.
podcast at the Final Four again.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
We're there.
No, you guys
Absolutely.
are going big time, but thank you so much for having us. This is our first podcast, and you guys just made us feel so welcome, and thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.